Hi, my name is Annie Versagel, and I'm the acting head of responsible investments at KLP, which is a Norwegian life insurance and pension fund. And I am so excited to be here today and to present some of the real innovators and who are really at the forefront of responsible lending in the shipping industry. We have Michael de Visser, who is the managing director at NIBC, Karianne Thielmann, who is the head of risk and portfolio management for energy and transportation at ABN AMRO, and Remco Steger, who is the regional head of shipping for Northwestern Europe for ING. And before I ask Michael to present a little bit about what this initiative means, I just want to underline why we're here today and why this is an issue. When we're talking about responsible ship recycling, we have to remember where the vast majority of the world's tonnage ends at the end of their life. This is about taking responsibility from cradle to grave. And according to NGO Shipbreaking Platform, in 2016, 668 of 862 ships ended up on the beach. We saw that in Gdansk, on the 1st of November last year, over 28 people died in an explosion related to irresponsible ship recycling. So this issue could not be more pressing, particularly with the kind of problems we see, the kind of challenges that the industry faces at this time. So I want to turn it over to Michael to just explain a little bit, what is this responsible ship recycling standards?
Yeah, thank you. Well, we started 3 years ago because of the fact that we were talking to an NGO in the Netherlands who put out a report on ship recycling. And wanted to discuss that with us, because we were financing people who did irresponsible ship recycling in their opinion. So we said, well, we only finance modern vessels, younger than 10, 12 years. They're not recycled. And that's where we started to sit together with ING and ABN AMRO to say, okay, what is the topic? And yeah, we were digging into it, and then you understand what ultimately is happening in terms of the impact, environmental and socially. And yeah, that was where we started to really come with a policy where we said, okay, we want to create awareness amongst our clients to see that although we are not financing all the vessels, we still see that we are at the beginning of the life cycle of a vessel, and yeah, discuss that in more detail with them. So that is how it all started 3 years ago. And today I think we have reached a lot with our clients and are ready for the next step to also get other banks on board.
And I just received confirmation that we are clear to be able to name here that DNB, the largest Norwegian bank, has now announced that it is signing on to the RSRS initiative. So very exciting news for the Norwegian market. I wonder if Karianne, if you could explain a little bit, what this means in practice. What are these standards, and what are the conversations like that you have with clients about this?
Yeah, thank you, Annie. As you were saying, there are too many accidents happening in current ship recycling practices, and we think that should change. That change should come from the shipping industry, and we as RSRS banks, we are all important financiers of the shipping industry, so we feel we have a role to play together with our clients to make that change. And what it actually means is the RSRS is that we commit ourselves to discussing the topic of scrapping with our clients. And although most of us finance modern ships and our clients operate modern ships, it is still a very relevant topic because we cannot ignore what happens at the end of the life of each of the ships that at some stage the ship owners owned or we as banks financed. So what we agreed to discuss the topic with our clients and also to agree that an inventory of hazardous material will be part of the financing package, a condition upon financing for new building ships that almost all the time is already in place. But for second-hand ships, we agree that such certificate will be prepared during the life of the loan. And next to that, we talk about a covenant, a clause in the loan agreement, whereby we agree with our borrower that we will do our best endeavors to scrap the ship in a sustainable way. Those are the main items of the RSRS agreement.
And so you have the inventory of hazardous materials as one item. Do you have, is there any kind of connection to a list of recycling facilities? I mean, we've heard a lot of discussion about kind of the EU white list coming up now. Of course, the list so far includes only European shipyards. But is there some discussion around that?
We refer to the EU ship recycling standards, we refer to the Hong Kong Convention, and we are eagerly awaiting indeed the international list that should be coming out from the EU. I was told in May, but I haven't seen the list just yet. But those are topics that we will discuss with our clients.
And Remco, I'm wondering, given that you're often at a very early stage in the ship financing, it sounds like it's very important to get more banks online with this. Could you speak a little bit to what kind of discussions you're having with other banks and how you kind of present the business case to them for why they should be a part of this initiative?
As part of the discussions in the platform, we've been inviting other banks to join, and they've done so. And at this point in time, discussions are going on whether any other banks will join. And as you just announced, DNB decided to be part of it. And we can only encourage other banks to join as well, because the more gravitas, the more momentum we have, the better we are at achieving success.
Yeah. And I'm wondering about any kind of unanticipated challenges that might have arisen during, with the initiative. I mean, obviously these could be rather difficult discussions with clients, but perhaps you'd like to comment on anything that's proven maybe a little bit more difficult than initially anticipated.
Well, to put it in was difficult because obviously, the first reaction that you get is no other bank is asking for this. Or we are not recycling vessels because we have modern vessels ourselves. The clients also mentioned that. Along the road, I think that we managed to explain the clients and to listen to them. And one client ultimately said, you Dutch banks, you are the only one asking for it. So we already saw that the clients were talking about it, and other banks also. So where we are now is, I think, we have it in every transaction, both the passport and the ship recycling policy. And now, hopefully, with other banks, we are able to narrow that a little bit down. So, for example, where we say that the green passport by second-hand vessels is at the next dry docking, well, maybe you can ultimately move it forward. Where we say you have to prepare your policy in a year, we're now able to get that in a shorter period. And one of the topics that always comes above is, of course, the cost of the green passport. Hopefully we will also be able to, if there are more green passports on the vessels, on the second-hand vessels, to bring the cost down, so that hurdle will also be taken.
Oh. And just for those who might not be familiar with it, what is the green passport?
It's an inventory of hazardous materials on the ship, which obviously at the time of recycling could have adverse impact on the environment and on the social aspects.
Any other comments on kind of unanticipated challenges that have?
No, sometimes it's difficult to get the clauses in, and ship owners wonder what are, if they are responsible for getting the inventory of hazardous materials since the ship is only 5 years of age, and why we as bank interfere. And then you have an interesting discussion, but usually we come to a good agreement on that.
And one thing I'm wondering is with with these discussions, obviously you have the ships that are nearing the end of their life, that don't have a lot of loan financing remaining, or might not have any debt at all. I mean, how do you think that the industry as a whole, is there anything that the banking industry can do to try to address that issue?
Well, part of the discussion is by having the awareness at the start of the life of a ship, and make sure that the requirements to have a responsible scrapping possible at the end have that at the start. But as you indicate, typically all the ships go without financing, so that leaves little leverage for the banks to have influence. But by simply having the discussions and raising the awareness, you improve the chance of responsible scrapping.
So it's really by starting that at the outset and developing a plan for that at the beginning.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And if I may add to that, last week we had a discussion with one of our clients who was about to scrap one of the ships we did not finance. Because we had a discussion about scrapping policies, this client came to think of it and reconsidered the yard that it chose to scrap their ship at. So just by having the conversation, just by creating the awareness, sometimes can make a difference.
Well, on that optimistic note, I'd like to, I'm afraid we have to end the panel here for now.
May I add one more thing? Of course, you mentioned that DNB formally decided to join RSRS, for which we are very happy. We're in discussion with other financial institutions who are testing the RSRS and to see if they feel comfortable with using it. In September, the RSRS banks will organize their first kickoff meeting. So we herewith invite all active ship financiers and investors to who want to join RSRS to sign up for that meeting with us.
It's an open invitation then for September. Thank you so much to this panel. Before I hand over, I'd just like to introduce our next speaker from the Joint U.S.-China Collaboration on Clean Energy, Dr. Peggy Liu.